WESH 2 News uncovers evidence that a man who got a ticket for running a red light was the wrong guy.
Yeah, he's an elderly man who rides the scooter in his senior community and never on a regular street, but somehow was ticketed for running a red light in another town. WESH 2's Greg Fox thought there was something fishy about this, and he was right. His report tonight from Volusia County.
You're looking at the cameras that are aimed at catching red light runners in Daytona Beach, this one at the intersection of Bellevue and Nova. Well, this ticket was sent to a man in Edgewater for driving a scooter through the intersection, but we've uncovered evidence that he didn't do it. It looked like a routine case, a scooter driver scooting through a red light. The license plate was photographed, and the red light runner was identified as 79-year-old Donald Abbott. He was mailed a notice of violation and ordered to pay a $158 fine. Were you shocked?
I certainly was. I knew it. It couldn't be me. It could not be me on that scooter.
He got even more upset when he looked at a close-up photo of the red light running scooter with a much heftier driver toting 2 milk crates on the back.
Everything is completely different.
In fact, the back of his scooter looks nothing like the offender's bike. Different brake lights, fenders, decals, and seat design. Not to mention that Abbott lives 22 miles from the intersection where the infraction occurred, and his neighbors say he never drives the scooter out of this community.
No, never. I've never seen him do it, and I've been around here all the time. We don't leave too often.
While he has no explanation for the matching license plates, Abbott fought the ticket, but a hearing officer slapped him with a larger $264 fine. Can you afford that?
No, of course not. I'm in retirement.
While cameras remain at this intersection and others in Daytona Beach, Mr. Abbott is debating whether or not he can scrape up the money to pay this $264 ticket, which is due next month, or try to hire an attorney. In Volusia County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
Now, we have just learned that a deputy city manager for Daytona Beach has decided to review the evidence and question raised in our story as soon as tomorrow. Of course, we'll update you on how this red light camera case turns out. A red light camera battle only on WESH 2. Tonight, a follow-up to a story we first brought you yesterday.
An elderly man got a ticket for running a red light on his scooter. WESH 2's Greg Fox continues his investigation with a promise from the city and the court to try to get the man's ticket tossed out.
Donald Abbott is close to 80 years old and uses his little scooter to zip around his community in Edgewater, but never on regular roads. That's why he was stunned to get a notice of violation saying this was him running a red light in Daytona Beach. Forget that the intersection of Nova and Bellevue, policed by cameras, is 22 miles from Abbott's home.
Everything is completely different.
When you look at the back of his scooter, the only thing that matches the red light runner's bike is the tag. Different fenders, lights, decals.
Oh, I never wore dungarees, I never wore boots, and the person on the scooter is much larger than I am, and anyone with a halfway vision could tell that it couldn't be me.
In court, a hearing officer saw the matching tag and gave Abbott a $264 ticket.
Clearly, we're talking two different vehicles here.
Chief Mike Chitwood saw our first report and is now investigating to find out why Abbott was ticketed and to find the offender.
Well, we're going to dig into this, and we're going to make sure that he shouldn't have to pay for that because it's not his scooter. And there were procedural errors that are made, and we'll see if there's a way to rectify it.
The tail light configuration on the scooters is distinctly different.
Deputy City Manager Paul McKittrick agreed with our evidence. While he supports a case review, he calls this a good lesson for others who receive a red light violation. You can file an affidavit swearing it's not you or bring proof to court.
The judge may have considered that sufficient and overturned the alleged violation.
In the end, Mr. Abbott may not be able to avoid paying the $264 fine he now faces, but he may be able to at least prove he didn't do it. In Volusia County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
Now, the hearing officer who ticketed Abbott says after seeing our report, he's prepared to overturn his original ruling and toss out the ticket and the fine, but first wants to review the evidence with the police chief. WESH 2 News investigates and gets results.
Tonight, a man fighting a red light camera ticket is off the hook after we proved that he did not do it.
WESH 2's Greg Fox first brought us this story last week, and tonight tells us the court has dismissed the case.
When we first told you about the owner of this scooter being issued a notice of violation for running a red light, we told you police were thinking possibly the offender had an altered or duplicate tag. Turns out they were right. This is an order from the hearing officer dismissing your ticket, and
Wonderful.
you're fine.
That's great.
Donald Abbott was relieved to find out he won't have to pay a ticket after our investigation proved he did not run a red light in Daytona Beach.
And so the hearing officer responded to that this morning.
Oh, wonderful. So happy to hear that.
Yeah, so there you go. So you don't have to pay the $264.
Great.
Pretty good stuff, huh?
Well, thanks to you and Channel 2 News.
Even though the red light runner's tag matches Abbott's, a close-up view of the violator's bike on the right clearly shows it's nothing like Abbott's green scooter.
This actually looks like a smudge here, like that used to be some other letter.
We showed the evidence to police, and they now believe the violator altered his tag, making Abbott an innocent victim.
I, for one, want to give him an apology. We certainly don't want to disrupt anybody's life by making them pay for something they didn't do.
That had the hearing officer ruling that the ticket issued to Donald Abbott is hereby dismissed with apologies to Mr. Abbott. Abbott did a victory lap around his community, but says he's still steamed about the ordeal.
We're on retirement, and we don't get a certain amount of money coming in each month. And it's tough when you have to pay for something that you're really not responsible for.
Now that Mr. Abbott has this order dismissing his ticket, he's hoping the police track down the person who's got a tag that looks like this, the real red light runner. In Volusia County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.